When we study the Torah, we should not look not just at the content, but at the form in how the Torah is constructed. And a good example of this is this week's Parsha, Parshat Ki Teitzei, which has many, many mitzvot, many commandments. And it's interesting to see how these commandments are structured. So, for example, at the beginning of the Parsha, you have 3 passages that are seemingly unrelated, that all have a negative theme. The soldier who sees a beautiful captive woman in war and takes her to be his wife. This is followed by the story of the man who has 2 wives, one of whom he loves and one of whom he hates. And it so happens that the firstborn son is the one born to the hated wife. And then the Torah continues with the story of the Ben Soreh Umoreh, the wayward child who is a glutton and a drunkard and is taken by his parents to the high court. And Rashi says that there is a connection between these 3 passages, although they don't seem to be related. And he says as follows, that the link is Aveira Goreret Aveira. One sin leads to another. Sin number 1, the person sees this beautiful captive woman, a Gentile woman, and he wants to take her. He shouldn't do it. That's not what a marriage is about. It's not just about looks, but he does it anyway. What happens next? The next passage. He has 2 wives, one of whom he loves and one of whom he hates. So what will happen inevitably? Because he did the first sin, he comes to a second sin. He hates his wife. And then this leads to the 3rd passage with the wayward child. What will happen with that hated wife? She will bear a son, and that son will become a wayward son. And this leads to the 3rd sin. So one sin leads to another. By the same token, the Torah continues with a number of different mitzvot. Sending away the mother bird, constructing a parapet around your roof to protect people from falling off, putting tzitzit on your garment. And here Rashi says, mitzvah goreret mitzvah. One mitzvah leads to another. You chase away the mother bird. Instead of taking the eggs or the chicks in front of her, you did a mitzvah. This leads you to doing another mitzvah. You'll build a house and you'll construct a railing around the roof, which will lead you in turn to another mitzvah. Hashem will give you the wherewithal to buy clothing, and you'll have to put tzitzit on your clothing. So one mitzvah leads to another. And Rabbeinu Yonah, commenting in Pirkei Avot, says that there is a psychology behind this. See, when a person does a sin for the first time, they feel very, very uncomfortable. It's not their normal behavior. But the second time that they do it, it's not that difficult. And the 3rd time that they do it, they've already justified it in their mind. Like the Talmud says that if a person does a sin and repeats it, it becomes keheter. It's like, it's allowed. Or they maybe even justify to themselves that it's a mitzvah, because there's a psychological progression. First it was difficult, I couldn't do it, but then it became easy. Rabbeinu Yonah says the same thing is true when it comes to mitzvot. You know, mitzvot require time, energy, resources. Some mitzvot are very difficult to do. But when you do one mitzvah, perhaps not even that difficult a mitzvah, so you are already getting into the psychological way of thinking of getting around the fact that it's difficult and it takes time and it takes resources. It was difficult to do, but you did it. So that when another mitzvah comes around and it's a little bit more difficult, you are now already in the mode and you're able to do it. And so to the 3rd mitzvah and the 4th mitzvah. It's almost like weight training. A person goes to gym. They've never done weight training. The first time they get there, all they can do is lift up 2 weights of 5 kilograms each perhaps, and do some bicep curls. And it's hard and it's painful. And the next week they go up from 5 kilograms to 10 kilograms to 15 kilograms until by the end of the year, who knows? They're bench pressing 100 kilograms. But they couldn't have done that a year ago because they hadn't trained themselves. There wasn't this progression. And so it is with the mitzvot that we do. Start off with something small. Get into the mode. Get into the frame of mind of doing a mitzvah. And as you do each one, it will become easier and easier. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.